numbers, your 2018 budgeted went down in 2019. That's just the budgeted amount of federal aid. Why are you expecting less federal aid?
Because it's all based on the lease of amounts. Everything, the expenses, all the budget that we get in is all based of how many vouchers we have lease up, like moving on.
Right, but we're still expecting to have 254 max, right? So why are you predicting less usage in the coming year than you had this year?
We don't get paid if we aren't using the voucher.
I understand.
So we
Right.
have to use, yes.
The goal is
actual
always, but the
amounts.
goal is always to have
Right.
254
Yes.
vouchers totally used and
Yes.
everybody's taking advantage of them.
Right.
But what is, and now I'm just looking at this big
Uh-huh.
top line profile, so maybe you can drill down a little bit to help me understand it, because it says estimated revenues, and I put that term in quotes because it's not like private sector revenues, but
10% less.
when you look at federal aid, the 2018, we budgeted 3,345,318 coming from federal aid. I don't know where that number is, like, I don't understand why it's not just this.
And the 20,000 that's supposed to be down. That's the difference
That's
that we're talking
20,000
about.
less. This is this is the lower number. We got $20,702 less, right?
Right.
Why?
Why was that? Yeah.
It could be because when we were doing the budget review, the numbers were very low. Like from 240, and now we're up to 250. So when I was doing the budget, I had to use the lower amount because we don't know we're going to get to the 250 vouchers.
Okay, so this year we had a big drop in the summer in 2018.
Yes.
But when you do budgets, you usually look back 3 to 5 years and say, what is my average? Like, same thing we do with our snow budget. Like, what's the last 5 winters? We had this much we had to spend in our plowing budget. So if you've got 254, did you have 254 as your max for the last few years?
Yes, it is the max, but unfortunately with HUD, we cannot do it. We had to predict, HUD goes every 3 months. They go back to the accounts and review everything every 3 months.
So you don't get to decide what this is?
Exactly, I don't get to
Okay,
decide.
okay. Nope. All right.
At the end of the year, then I could ask for, hey, listen, I did use all my 254, so they will reimburse me, but I don't want to count with something. What about if we don't make it to those 254?
So,
we use actual amounts to budget.
this year at every time, when you're doing this look back, unfortunately, you're looking, is it typical that the numbers drop in the summer?
Yes.
So that's
but-
unfortunate.
Yes. Especially this year, it was a big drop. Normally, we drop 1 or 2, but this year was a big drop.
So this is what you're anticipating this is what you're putting in the budget, is what
Yes.
your anticipated amount is. But and that's appropriate and that's conservative because that's what
Mm-hmm.
you're putting in. But if we don't have a big drop next year, and if you're able to, anticipate, I mean, because I know you're constantly reaching out to people so that when you have an available voucher, you bring them in, you do the training, you do get the onboarding for people. You do the onboarding for people
Is it
so that you can keep that up to 254 to try and hit that number every month that you possibly can. So is there anything that you need from us to try and get back up to that number, even when you have these sudden drops?
We just need more apartments.
Oh, okay, well,
People we have,
That's what it comes down to, right?
yes.
but not just more apartments. Describe the apartments that you need, that the Section
The
8 vouchers
larger
work with.
apartments, the 3 and plus apartments. 1 and 2 bedrooms we do have, but as we know, families are growing, they're not small. The 3 bedrooms, the 4 bedrooms, those are the units that are more needed, and those are people who eventually have to move out of the Austin because they can't find large apartments. Also, the rents are pretty high. A 1-bedroom is running between $1,600–$1,700, and it's very hard to find an apartment.
And what is the
to
Section 8
match.
voucher designed to be able to accommodate? What rent levels?
Effective October 1st, these amounts went up. For example, a 1-bedroom, the payment standard is now $1,609 if the apartment includes everything.
So heat and hot water is what? Without everything, what is it?
Without everything, it depends on what kind of utilities they're going to pay.
So-
Normally, a 1-bedroom, they only pay the light and the gas, so we kind of drop down $50. So a 1-bedroom price will be somewhere between $1,550, probably $1,600, and we're pushing it depending on the family's income. So the 2-bedroom is up to $1,953. The 3-bedroom is up to 2511, and the 4-bedroom is up to 2858. These are 10% over the fair market rent for the entire Westchester County. So we're paying more than HUD is allowing for the whole Westchester County,
That's what the 20% markup for Westchester County?
10%.
10%.
Could we get a 20%?
Under special consideration, yes.
What do you mean, under special, what does that
Handicap,
mean?
disabled, something special, yes. We had to get approval from HUD, anything.
On an
above-
individual basis,
Yes.
based on the particular applicant?
Yes.
Now, don't we prioritize people who are disabled and senior citizens?
We do have priority, yes.
So do most of those people who are disabled and senior citizens, do they get the markup?
When the markup is when you need like a special arrangement to the unit, like to put the bars in the bathroom, to have a handicap,
Okay.
rail, things like that, that's what we mean over.
So just because the market is asking for more is not a reason to get 20% more.
No, we
so,
ha-
so if a new bedroom is really, coming to be $1,700, but with no heat and with heat and hot water, but you still have to pay utilities or whatever the case may, and you only have $1,550, that's not a reason for them to give you a 20% markup.
We'll have to make a survey and make sure that if more than certain percent is paying that amount, then we had to submit it to HUD. But if we submit it to HUD and HUD say, okay, go above whatever percentage you want, it has to be from whatever you're already getting. They're not gonna get us more. So for example, if they give me $1,000 per voucher to cover their rentals, and I'm gonna increase a rent up to 20% more, it has to come from that budget that we already have established.
Okay, so from those 254. So, okay, that.
So
that-
I will
okay.
have to take some money from other vouchers to supplement the extra that we're gonna pay.
Got you.
It's a weird explanation
No,
that they
I-
have.
So
They
that
say
means
you
we
could
can't just
do it.
across the board say, look, it's expensive in Ossining. We need our vouchers to be more valuable. They're not gonna give us that. They're still gonna give us a pot of money, and it just means there's gonna be less than 254 vouchers that are gonna be able to be funded by that same amount of money.
That is correct.
Which means the administrative fee that goes with that voucher is not received by us because we haven't used that voucher.
A couple of budget questions. The admin income from HUD, 21,205 times 12, what does that consist of?
That's the admin part that we receive from HUD per voucher.
Per voucher?
Yes.
Okay. So you only did 12. It says 12, so
12 months.
12 months, gotcha, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the amount we allow per month based on how many vouchers we have active or leased up.
And then there was,
Yeah, that lease-up factor is really critical.
Yes.
so, nope, that makes sense. I don't really have that many questions. The only thing I would say is, it would be interesting to know how many large families are leaving Ossining based on the information that you have as far as not being able to find an apartment. Because if, from your office, I would like to know, like, what does that trend look like year by year by year?
I'll have to check, but yes.
Yeah, there would be some indicator, when, because people who qualify for a 3-bedroom voucher, and if that voucher is expiring, that would be a number, I assume, right? Mm-hmm. It's expiring because of not being able to be used here in Ossining, or are they porting it elsewhere, and then it,
Two things are happening. Either they downsize and they stay all in a 2-bedroom, or they pour out to another agency to where they could get a 3-bedroom, for
and then they're no longer
example.
part of our 254?
No, it depends. If they're going to, if we get bill, which is, if you see in the report where it says pour out, if we get bill, yes, it does get part of our voucher, but we don't get funded 100%. If they get pour out, transfer, let's just say to CVR, and they absorb the case, then we just lose that voucher. We have to replace it with someone from the waiting list.
Right, which isn't a bad thing. It just means somebody else who is in our community, hopefully is going to be able to find a home and stay in our community, will now have access to a voucher that hadn't been available before. So that's
That's
not a bad
correct.
thing. There's just an onboarding time frame, and so when that happens, you go through your list and
Yes.
find the next available person on the list. Okay.
But the port outs, we could pay for a while if they can't, so the other agency has to be able to put them into their system, and if
They have to have an available voucher to
Right,
accommodate
then if
them.
they can't, then we continue to pay for a long time.
Yes. We pay their full amount of rent and we just get partial 20%.
So you work very hard to try and keep them here.
Yes.
The condition of housing, has that impacted your ability to keep families here as far as the condition of housing or the quality of housing?
I think the quality of the apartment, it's been in good shape for the past few years. I see the improvement that the landlords are making the changes. They are doing the repairs. Yes, we do have some minors, but it's much better. The quality, yes, I could say that.
Anything else changing as far as personnel or what you're experiencing? I'm glad to hear the quality of the housing is going up.
We are doing okay. We're fine.
Yeah, that was really not convincing.
I could tell you what I want. I have a wish list, but I said, okay, it's all about the budget.
So, in previous years, you've come here and you've talked about meeting with landlords and having them learn more about the program. Have you been successful in that at all in 2018?
No, I have to be honest. I do talk to the landlords over the phone, or sometimes they come to the office, but making like a big meeting to schedule it, no, I haven't been able to do that yet. I'm trying to concentrate to lease up the vouchers, and that takes a while. That takes a long time to try to get someone from the waiting list to move in, and I think like that prioritizes everything.
I know Mamaroneck is using like online, like they have like online registration. Are we there yet? Like with, as far as, are people on the waiting list like online, like an online portal now, or?
We are,
Started this year, right?
we have 50/50, yes. We started this year, we have 50/50 with that. We are having the clients more into the online system. We have, I think we have, I can't say the numbers, but we do have a large percentage of landlords sign up to that website as well, which is
Okay.
very convenient. I mean,
Alright.
we communicate through the online system a lot. Like, it's much faster, much better. Sometimes we have our glitch, like we all know, but yes, it is working much better. Hopefully, once we open the waiting list again, a few years from now, everything's going to be online. So we don't have to be doing so much huge mail like we just did the beginning of the month.
And just to be clear about the program, the first year you're given a 1-year lease, and then after that is a month-to-month? Is that the way
That is
Section 8
correct, unless the
here?
landlord wants to do another lease. If they do a renewal, then we just have to get a copy of that, but it's not mandatory.
And what's the retention rate here out of your 250 vouchers? How many people have actually, and you may not have this answer if you don't, but is there like a retention rate, particularly for your month-to-months? How many of them are?
Right now, I'm keeping around 250 of those vouchers. October and November, we're there. December, I know they will go up a little bit because I got some new people in. The turnover, once I issue a voucher for a person to move in, that one is really, really bad. Like, I could issue 20 vouchers, and probably 5 of them will make it to the program.
Okay.
Voucher expire, or because they move out, and they could.
And out of a whole year, how many do you believe have actually expired? Just roughly.
It'd be interesting to know, yeah.
Out of 20, I do 20 because that's how I issue them. So out of 20, the rate is about 5 make it in, and about 5 vouchers will expire. The others either transfer out or didn't come to the meetings or whatever, but it's kind of like they are 50/50, like make it in, and the ones that really expire.
20 for the whole year.
Now, 20 as I said, as I pull them out from the
Works
waiting
in
list.
sets.
This year, I think we started calling in April, May. So far, we have called about 120 applicants from the waiting list. And out of that, we probably made 25 new people.
Gotcha.
But then at the same time, some of them goes out. So it's just balancing every month.
Gotcha. Okay.
You said that you had a wish list, but
Yes.
That's not in the recommended budget. So I keep trying to, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble making sense of the two books because we don't have the requested in our Munis form. So I don't know what you requested that didn't make it into the recommended. It's in here, but I, for the life of me, can't, that's why I keep flipping back and forth. I'm listening to you, but maybe I'm just not seeing it because I'm half listening to you or listening to you too much to be able to find it. Is section 8 in here? Because I was,
Yeah,
They're under their own.
Oh, yeah, and then,
yeah, they have their own fund,
here they are.
Yeah.
They have their own fund?
yes. Federal monies need to be kept separate from
Okay.
general fund money.
Except that we
so they
pay
requested-
money out of the general fund,
Supplement, to balance their budget.
so their revenue comes from our general fund.
Right, so you'll see a transfer out to section 8 from the general fund, and it goes into here. So if Maryland gets more money, then less money has to be transferred out, and that's a general fund savings.
The only difference was that a computer was added in her budget, or what her original request was.
That's it? So you didn't even bring your wish list into the, into the requested, Marilyn.
I know the answer. I could just tell you right now.
Oh, come on, you gotta work on your negotiation skills, you gotta ask.
You have to ask, yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'll put it in
Be
there.
okay
yeah.
with
Wait,
no.
you
Okay,
want what?
just reject it, just reject it.
No.
I don't think you lose anything by asking. I
Right.
gotta tell you, you're no worse off than before, so you should push back a little bit.
Eventually, we'll say yes if you keep asking for something.
Oh, good to know.
So what would you
Anything that
like?
you add to the budget will be funded by the general fund.
I,
just so you know.
I understand.
Of course it will.
So don't encourage me, right?
So what would you like?
Go ahead.
I will only ask to have the part-time to become full-time. We really need a third person there. I know it's hard, but with all the paperwork and all the hard work that we're doing to keep those numbers up, it's really worth it having the third person. There's a lot of paperwork moving in and out. And rather than losing money because the numbers are down, she's there most of the time, but I understand.
So you have somebody who's part-time right now that
Yes.
ideally, if we had the money in the budget, you would want that person to be full-time.
Yes,
Does she stay for overtime? Does she get overtime?
yes.
Yeah,
But she doesn't get benefits.
right.
It's better to do the overtime for the budget than to do benefits.
Well, her overtime's usually at straight pay because she works less than a full week.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah, but doesn't she eventually, but we're not crossing a threshold that's requiring us to give her health insurance?
I don't know, I haven't personally looked at that, so that's a good question.
Kicks in
How many
automatically.
hours a
There's
week does your
only-
part-time person work now?
She's supposed to be doing
It
16
would, something would be
hours.
triggered to us. Okay, all right.
Right.
16 hours a week, but she's, yeah.
Okay, all right.
HR will
And can she,
automatically
I mean,
kicks in.
she works 16 hours a week, you're saying now, right?
That's what she's supposed to be working.
But does she work more than that, or?
Yes, she is putting the overtime, the extra time and everything.
So how many hours does she actually work?
She sometimes do 22, 25 hours a week. Yes.
Our actuals for overtime is what, $343? $343?
Housing section 8, 3,500.
No, I see what the request is, but our
Right.
actual numbers are this is
$343.
$43. And these numbers were pulled from when?
I don't think it's put in there right now, Caldera. It's not put under,
To the 110 line.
Okay.
So on page,
Well, it's in the budget here. I mean, the actual for this year
There you
is
go.
15,482.
Yeah, the part-time,
That's the actual
Part-time
part-time, that's what she's worked to date.
Okay.
see that?
Okay, the
Yeah.
requested is 1345. What,
part-time
you know,
here, the
Gotcha.
When she says 110,
Okay.
that's what we're looking at.
I mean, it
Right.
seemed.
For the first 10 months of the year, she's already earned more than we've budgeted for next year. You expecting her to work less?
No.
So
wanna
we're
keep
under
those
budgeting.
numbers, yes.
You're saying
we wanna
we're
keep-
under budgeting for what we actually expect is gonna be the workload of what we're gonna pay out for the part-time person in Section 8.
Well, as long as this person doesn't exceed certain thresholds, right?
I'm not even talking about if, doing the leap from part-time to full-time. That's not even what I'm suggesting. I'm just
I'm-
wondering if we're under budgeting.
Well, we are under budgeting, and you know, I'm saying that if we can give her more hours as a part-timer, that, I mean, even if we put 16,000 in there, I mean, that's what, that's
Seems
about-
more likely.
I mean, that would at least, that would give you more hours to work over the year and to do all the
It'd
things
still
that
be
you want.
part-time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what we budgeted in 17, but that was the actual in 17. 16,000.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable adding another $2,500. I think
At
out of a
least
30
budget accurately,
at-
because
after a
we know we're gonna
$30
spend it
budget, I
anyway,
think we
yeah.
can find some part-time more hours. I mean, I'd even make it, I mean, in 17, she did nearly 16.5. Why don't we just
Has the
give her
rate gone
that?
up? Has the hourly rate gone up?
Few cents,
Yeah, I mean,
just
it's,
get like 25, 50 cents a year, it's not a lot.
Let's just bring it up to 16,000, because we know what that
Are
is.
we still shaving that 46,000?
I know, that's why I said 16,000 instead of 17.
Are we still shaving that 46,000?
Take something out.
Well, you know, Dale Early had talked about us having to shave 46,000 to get to that 0%.
Yeah, we understand.
I know what you were talking about, yeah.
We're up to
well, I think
48.
we'll find that
Oh,
somewhere else.
48?
Not just
Somehow.
that. Yeah.
It's all
When
right.
we add this
You weren't here.
expense,
Every time we add something, we have to find someplace
then we have to
else
add
take
to
it
this
out.
80.
Yeah,
We'll balance it
there's a
here.
lot of numbers that have been thrown around. We'll find it.
Right.
So are we agreeing to give her,
Well,
Yeah, she already wrote it in. The
Yep.
vet manager already
yeah, I wrote it
and
in,
what's
16.
the dollar amount?
wrote 16.
16, that's what I heard.
Yes, okay, I'm good
Which
with
is
that.
basically what she does, except now it'll be official.
That was easy.
Great.
It wasn't exactly what you wanted. All we did is do better accounting, but yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Marilyn, thank you. Do you have any insights for us? You know, I had a conversation recently where I understood that if new development comes in, and we have the set-asides, and we would like to incentivize or legislate, however it is, to increase the amount of affordable units that are set aside in new development. One of the questions that I had was, in our community, 60% area median income, we have more of a need at the 30, 40, 50% area median income. And this is the first time, and I guess because just every time I have one of these conversations about affordable housing, I learn a little bit more, and this was a conversation with folks from, it was Darren Scott. What's his department?
Yes,
Okay, Darren Scott.
New York.
So, is it DHCR?
Yeah, DHCR. Yes.
I forget
yeah.
how many things are happening in that department. But that they could, if a development comes in and it has a greater number of set-asides at the 60% area median income, but we demonstrate that we have a population that would really benefit from having more housing available for folks at the 30, 40, and 50% area median income, that what they can do is they can increase the number of Section 8 vouchers in our community. And then that would increase, it would go from 254 to whatever, 260 or something, just to make sure that the people who are in our community that are in need of lower income housing are able to access this new housing that's being built, because they're getting a Section 8 voucher in our community, because now we know that we have more affordable units that are available in that range, in the whatever $1,600 for the one bedroom or the whatever the range is. Is that something that you are familiar with? And it's the first time I'd ever heard of how can we increase the number of vouchers we have in our community?
If that's possible, we just have to apply for it.
Okay.
If we could do that, yes, we just have to get the right applications and send them in. I mean, my understanding is HUD is not giving out vouchers. We have to have like a good reason
It would,
why
it
to
would, it would be in
request it.
conjunction with a development that has a substantial amount of affordable housing
Good.
component in it.
Would those vouchers be tied to the actual building?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's just, no, I don't think necessarily that they would. It's
Okay.
not like a Snowden
Have
House
contracts.
project or
Okay.
something. No, that wasn't my understanding.
Okay.
But this is the first I'd heard of it, so, sometimes a second round of conversation
Gotcha.
enlightens us. But I'd never heard of that before.
Okay.
So I was actually kind of excited about it
If
because.
the package comes with something like that, we just need to know the specifics. Sometimes they do give you extra vouchers, but for specific, like only, okay, we give you 5 more vouchers because we're a small office, but it has to be for moving to work vouchers only, or to the VASH. VASH are only for veterans people. It has to be like just regular voucher, housing choice voucher. If that's the case, then we could work with it. If it's a special, then we have to get approval if we could house special vouchers.
Okay, well, we have all kinds of people who need to have vouchers, so
Yes.
whatever the category is, well, I'd be happy to.
Do we have any veterans in our program?
We do have veterans, but we don't have the special vouchers.
So if we were able to get those special vouchers for them, would that free up?
Right, we can transition that to
yeah.
the veterans, and then the veterans,
that
whatever they're
possible?
holding can become.
No, we can't do that.
Okay.
It'll have to be a
figure it out.
separate waiting list, a separate application for veterans only.
All right,
Okay.
we'll figure it out. But I like the idea.
Yeah.
It is,
Good idea,
yes.
right? All right, and you could handle it. You could go from 254 to 260.
Yeah.
All right, then you're gonna come back and say, I need that other half-time
Yes,
person,
and
but.
I need
Because we have a
But
partners to put them in.
if there's more administrative reimbursement, then maybe
Yes.
that's how we make it happen. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Be safe,
Thank-
everyone.
Thank you.